Welcome to CognitionChunks. I'm going to Yellowstone National Park soon. This is my first visit and I would like to get as much out of my trip as I can. Can I use GPT to prepare? This is the hike, Fountain Paint Pot Loop at Yellowstone National Park. Overview. The Fountain Paint Pot Loop is one of the most popular and accessible trails in Yellowstone National Park, offering a condensed yet diverse experience of the park's geothermal wonders. This loop takes you past hot springs, geysers, fumaroles, and mud pots, all within a relatively short distance. The trail is a boardwalk, making it accessible for families and individuals of all ages. Length and duration. Total distance, approximately 0.6 miles. Duration, about 30 minutes to 1 hour, depending on the time spent at each geothermal feature. Trail difficulty. This is an easy hike with very little elevation change, primarily on boardwalks. Highlights. Fountain Paint Pot, a large mud pot with varying consistency and color depending on the season. Clepsydra Geyser. This geyser erupts almost continuously, offering a guaranteed geothermal display. Various hot springs, including Red Spooter and Silex Spring. How to reach from the nearest hotel. Assuming you're staying at the Old Faithful Inn, which is one of the nearest accommodations to the Fountain Paint Pot area. 1. Exit Old Faithful Inn, leave the inn and head north toward the Grand Loop Road. 2. Turn right on Grand Loop Road, turn right onto Grand Loop Road/W Entrance Road. 3. Drive, continue for about 9 miles. You will pass by the Midway Geyser Basin on your way. 4. Arrive at Fountain Paint Pot, look for the Fountain Paint Pot sign, and then turn into the parking lot, which is on your right. 5. Parking and trailhead. The parking lot is quite large, but it can fill up quickly due to the trail's popularity. The trailhead begins at the parking lot and is hard to miss. Tips. This area can get quite crowded, especially during the peak summer months. Early morning or late afternoon visits are recommended for fewer crowds. Make sure to stay on the boardwalk for your safety and to protect the delicate geothermal features. Interpretive signs along the trail offer additional information about each feature, enhancing the educational value of the hike. Conclusion. The Fountain Paint Pot Loop provides a quick yet comprehensive introduction to the hydrothermal wonders of Yellowstone National Park. Given its accessibility and variety of geothermal features, it's a must-visit for anyone coming to the park. Just be mindful of the crowds and always follow park safety rules and guidelines. Welcome back, intrepid voyagers of both the corporeal world and the labyrinthine expanses of human intellect. We've concluded our escapade around the Fountain Paint Pot Loop in Yellowstone National Park, a setting that is not merely a showcase of natural wonders, but also a rich tapestry interwoven with numerous academic disciplines. Let's reflect on the cornucopia of intellectual stimuli this specific hike has offered. The rich mineral deposits are a library of geological history, offering insights into the cyclical patterns of our planet. Time's arrow may point in one direction, yet it writes narratives in infinite loops. Chemistry and the art of color. The vivid hues emanating from the pools and springs are more than an optical treat, they're a real-world display of inorganic chemistry. The colors are a direct manifestation of the mineral content, pH levels, and thermal conditions, each acting like an ingredient in a complex chemical recipe. Thermodynamics and heat transfer. With steam rising and bubbling mud pools around, this is a living lab for the study of thermodynamics. The processes of convection, conduction, and even radiation can be witnessed here. How does heat transfer occur between different mediums like air, water, and earth? This hike offers a first-hand look. Anthropology and cultural significance. Beyond the scientific, there is also the cultural. For indigenous peoples, natural features like the hot springs often held spiritual or mythical significance. This opens the door for discussions about anthropology and the different lenses through which cultures view and interact with nature. Cognitive psychology and sensory perception. The range of smells, sulfurous odors, the scent of damp earth, activates our olfactory senses and becomes an avenue to discuss sensory perception. How do our brains process these various stimuli, and how do they affect our cognitive and emotional states? It's a psychological field trip through our own neural pathways. Geopolitics and resource management. The presence of such geothermal activity inevitably raises questions of resource utilization. Could these be harnessed sustainably for energy? This branches into geopolitics as we discuss the governance, regulation, and potential international interest in such natural resources. Aesthetics and philosophy of art. The naturally occurring paint pots with their vibrant colors and unique textures provoke a consideration of aesthetics. What is beauty? Is there an objective standard, or is it entirely subjective? The landscape here becomes a canvas for both nature and our philosophical musings on art. Fluid mechanics and non-Newtonian liquids. The bubbling mud pots exhibit characteristics of non-Newtonian fluids, which don't follow the conventional laws of fluid mechanics. Here, fluid dynamics meets geology, inviting us to think about the broader principles of physics that govern both man-made and natural phenomena. In summary, our trek around the fountain paint pot loop has been an intellectual journey as much as a physical one. From chemistry and thermodynamics to anthropology, psychology, geopolitics, aesthetics, and physics, this hike has served as a multi-course feast for the inquisitive mind. This is CognitionChunks, where each step in nature takes us leaps ahead in our understanding of multiple disciplines. As we gear up for the next leg of our ceaseless quest for knowledge, may your intellect remain as active as your hiking boots. Until then, bid adieu, keep questioning, and never cease to marvel at the world around you. Was this accurate? Did GPT just make up a bunch of stuff that does not exist or does not make sense? I'll let you know how GPT did in a few weeks.